Then one of them, when he saw he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice. He prostrated himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. I remember a long time ago, because I'm old enough to be a long time ago, I recall a Christmas when I was young. My sister wanted a doll, a record album, and a charm bracelet. I was hoping for an erector set, a Roy Rogers lunchbox with a thermos, and extra cars for my train set. When Christmas morning finally arrived, my sister and I were ripping open the presents and were very happy and started to play with them. And then we felt my mother's eyes. She had these blue eyes that just pierced you, and you knew it was something. She goes, "Now what do you say?" And the answer should be, "Thank you." That same Christmas we had with my grandmother. My grandmother Baker didn't have a whole lot of money, so I knew I wouldn't get much. But I got a box of handkerchiefs. And I'm thinking as a little kid, what do I do with the box of handkerchiefs? Those eyes again. And she goes, "Timmy, what do you say?" Well, my thank you was heard by Mom and my grandma, but I doubt much of anybody else there heard it. And then there's the times when I was a kid when no one had to ask me to say thank you. And that was when Mom would bake a chocolate cake and she'd make cocoa fudge icing for the cake, or my grandmother would make a cherry pie. Thank you was on the end of my tongue and nobody had to tell me. 3 different thanks. One of deep gratitude, one of respect for my grandma, and one with no need for prompting. So what is it about the lepers that was so bad? We heard some of it in the Old Testament, and in the gospel this morning, Jesus healed them. In Leviticus, the law says, "The leper who has the disease shall wear torn cloths and let his hair hang loose. And he shall cover his upper lip and cry, 'Unclean, unclean.' He shall remain unclean as long as he has the disease. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone in a habitation outside of the camp." Yet Jesus prayed the Samaritan for his faith. But even healed of leprosy, the Samaritan was still an outsider. Jews rejected him, wouldn't let them be a part of them because he was different. But he alone took the time to turn back and look at Jesus. He comprehended the act that Jesus was doing, and I'm sure the Samaritan saw the love of God through Jesus. He knew there was more to this than just being healed. He said, "Thank you." And Jesus said his body and soul were healed. Now, maybe the other 9 lepers were so anxious and full of joy that they forgot to thank Jesus. After all, they were following his command. He said to go to the priest and be declared clean. But we don't know. Luke doesn't tell us. The lepers were healed, but they wanted more. They desperately wanted the priest to tell them that they were clean. They wanted to be able to be with their family again, to be with the community, and to worship with the community. A few years ago, when I was living in California, I was coming home from JFK Airport in New York. It had been raining the night before, and it was still raining and storming, and our flight was delayed and eventually canceled. So we all rush up to the desk to get another ticket to see where we're going. I was behind this extremely obnoxious man, and he kept berating the ticket agent as if it was her fault that it rained. And at one point he said, if I'm late in Los Angeles and miss my meeting and get fired, I blame you. I'm thinking, well, I don't think she can take that responsibility. He left. I got up there, and I commented on how nice she was to the man. And she said, well, thank you for the compliment. Then she said, he's going to Los Angeles, but his luggage is going to Tokyo, Japan. You never know. You know, we had a laugh at his expense. She went ahead and I told her, I don't have to go home that day. I was free. I could go home the next day, which relieved her a bit and put me on a flight. I also they didn't have to because it was weather related. She put me up at a Wheaton and I had my food covered. So you never know what gratitude is going to reap. Just like the Samaritan, he didn't expect Jesus to heal him and to heal his soul. In today's world, it seems that we're not satisfied with what we have. We want more things, a bigger house, better schools, a vacation home, more income, a prestigious job, a smaller waist, more muscles, six-pack abs, a new car, that designer dress, a new TV, more people in the pews and more pledges, maybe a new organ. The list goes on and on. And it appears to me that gratitude has no spot in our calendar. It can't be fit in among soccer games and piano lessons, yoga, bridge club, poker night, date night, Cubs games, White Sox, Bears football, Blackhawks, grocery shopping, Ultra Guild, doctor visits. We rationalize not having the time by saying, well, God knows I'm thankful. Or, I pray every Sunday at church. Or, isn't that the job of the clergy? And when gratitude is given, there's often anticipation of something coming back to us. I remember a time that I was not perfect, I never am, and I had gotten a ride to the doctor's office. And as I said thank you to the woman who had given me the ride, I was thinking, oh, well, good, I can do this again. She doesn't mind doing it. We should thank the new people in church, and we should thank them without expecting something in return. When the other 9 lepers did not show gratitude, Jesus did not reverse the healing. It appears he did not expect anything in return. There's an anonymous quote that says, never let the things you want make you forget the things you have. What the lepers saw determined their outlook and their behavior. The 9 lepers wanted freedom, acceptance, family, community. They were consumed with what they didn't have to be declared clean. And in that rush, they really didn't see, I think, what Jesus actually did. They didn't really appreciate possibly the healing, however they were happy for it. I'm sure they probably were grateful, but they didn't express any gratitude. While attending a gay pride festival in Long Beach, California, my partner and I stopped by a table from the St. Thomas Episcopal Church. And it had been a long period of my time when I was unchurched. And they asked us to come to Mass with them on Sunday. My partner, I attended. We were welcomed. It was a very warm feeling. But the thing that really clenched it for me was the following Monday evening when I returned home from work. There was a loaf of bread on my doorstep with a note that said, "Thank you for breaking bread with us." They thanked me for joining them. Even today, when I tell this story, I have this absolutely wonderful warmth that I feel inside. And ever since then, I've wanted others who have been alienated from the church to feel that way also. I want to be able to say to somebody else who have not been treated fairly by the church, perhaps, to thank them for joining us. Thank you for being a part of us. I want to bring to them the love of God through Jesus. And today I want to thank all of you for breaking bread with me today. God's love came through as acceptance in the community for me and the healing of my soul. I knew God's grace because of those simple words. Thank you. Where are you today? Do you see what you've got? Are you thankful for what you have? Are you thankful for the others around you that make your life easier, more pleasant? Don't forget what you have. Gratitude in the times of Jesus in the Jewish world was highly esteemed. We get a sense of what this was from the Nashmat, a prayer recited in the Sabbath morning service, where our mouth is full of song as the sea, and our tongue is full of joyous song as its multitude of waves, and our lips is full of praise as the breath of heaven, and our eyes as brilliant as the sun and the moon, and our hands as outstretched as the eagles of the sky, and our feet as swift as hinds. We could not thank you sufficiently, Hashem, our God and God of our forefathers, and to bless your name for even one of thousands of thousands, and myriads of favors, miracles, and wonders that you performed for our ancestors and for us. When was the last time you gave thanks for people, places, ordinary things in your life? The sun, vegetables, your job, your family, the checkout clerk, the bus driver, your health, doctors, nurses, receptionists, the firemen, police, Trinity Wheaton, Father Kevin, Deacon Jim. Gratitude to God and the people of God should be a part of your daily life. You should be practicing it. And remembering, never let the things you have cause you to forget the things you never let the things you want make you forget the things you have. A simple act of kindness on your part lets the love of God shine, and the person to whom you show gratitude will see that light, will feel the love of God and pass it on to someone else. Your expression, that wee flicker of light of gratitude, can become a beacon for all to see. So what should you do? Express your gratitude for this world, your life, for God's gifts. I encourage you to find places to express gratitude. Specifically, find a new place, a new opportunity, a new way to express gratitude to someone this week. And then each week, keep adding opportunities until your day overflows with gratitude to God for this world and God's people. JFK once said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. And in closing with the words of William Shakespeare, I pray, O Lord, who lends me life, lend me a heart replete with thankfulness. Amen.